The internet. It's a mystical series of tubes that brings us all the information we could ever want. And with a few clicks, we have access to infinite types of media and content. Happy, sad, angry, scary, everything is available. But today, I want to focus on impressive content. I've seen a lot of impressive content over the years, from bottle flips to sporting moments. That dude who sung Chocolate Rain. But recently I stumbled across what would have to be the most impressive channel on all of YouTube. It's a channel by the name of Taylor the Fiend. There's a lot to be impressed by when it comes to Mr. Fiend. Look at his office space. Look at how he's always impeccably dressed. Look at his glow up from 2019 to today. Look at the audience that he's built, even though he's a talking elf cartoon that solely makes videos about how he hates women.
Women are using men for attention, they're using men for money, they're using men for whatever other resources they can get out of it. What they'll do is they'll want to give a pat on the back to the guy that's paying for their crap. And they'll say, oh, good boy, like she'll pretend like she cares, but she absolutely does not.
Okay, I've always said on this channel, guys, couples therapy is absolutely useless, particularly for men.
I'm going to say this as politely as I can. This woman is running out of time, guys. It's been said over and over again in this space, but women are on a timer.
When a guy says he's lonely, it means literally nobody talks to him. When women say they're lonely, it typically means that they're not getting enough validation, but they still get validation. You see what I'm saying? The tattoo on the forearm here, okay, we have the long ass nails. These things are huge red flags if you want to be a wife. Guys don't leave relationships and marriages for no reason. Women do that. When a girl leaves a relationship, it just means typically that she's looking to trade up with a different guy.
As best I can tell, no one really knows who he is. He presents himself as this cartoon character who's part emo elf, part vampire, and part Billie Jean era Michael Jackson. It's possible he's hiding behind this cartoon character because he has some insecurities about his looks, as I kind of think that he has some insecurities about his voice as well. Listen to his voice in his earlier videos.
Everything is just disturbing about this video.
Compare that to his later videos where he sounds like this.
It's every single time that I hear I'm happy single, all that I'm hearing is cope.
It's obviously pitch shifted down. But again, this is just speculation, because to be honest, Taylor the Fiend is a bit of a mystery. What I do know about him though is that he posts extremely low effort content regularly.
After we've built like a little bit of, excuse me guys for that noise, right? Keep in mind, by the way, I was barely listening to this, okay?
And every single video is based on his absolute contempt, mistrust, and disdain he has for women, all wrapped up neatly behind his monotonous narration.
Like, yeah, the thing is, the only reason why these women win these arguments, and these confrontations, is because men can't do anything back or they get sent to jail.
Taylor titles his videos in a way that tells us a lot about his views without even having to watch the videos. And put together, they paint a very clear picture of how he sees the world. Women, bad. All of his videos stick to the same set formula. First, he'll play a video that he's found on TikTok of women speaking about relationship issues or other similar topics.
I'm just saying, like, it is annoying when you have the door shut on your face by someone you don't even know because they simply just don't know the rules of life.
He then builds hypothetical scenarios or invents a backstory that he plays off as reality based on nothing other than his own bias and imagination.
She's framing it like a dude deliberately shut the door. I don't think that's what happened. I think he just let it shut behind him because probably he didn't notice or he didn't care to do it.
He then, in the very next breath, points at all the issues in his made-up story to add weight to his critiques.
It's not like he physically shut the door on you. You see how she like slightly changes the wording there, guys, to make herself appear as though this man was egregiously violating the rules of human nature? Yeah, right, okay. Well, that's a mental illness and a half.
Oftentimes, you'll just tell his audience that the person in the video is lying. But don't worry, you can trust him because
I know women. Okay?
And while he does spit out these assertions about how women act and think, he very seldom expands on any of these claims.
Women, at the end of the day, they try and get you to show them off, and then when you do that, again, they lose interest, because what it is they really want the validation of being shown off on social media, but when you give it to them, they just kind of lose interest.
There's lots of confidence in what he says, but he has zero reasoning to back it up. Here, he's commenting on the red flags of women, but he doesn't bother to explain why they are red flags.
Before we continue with the video, let's just quickly count the amount of red flags we have here. Number 1, single mother. Number 2, complaining on the internet. Number 3, has a TikTok account. Number 4, we have strangely dyed hair. Number 5, we have a septum piercing. Number 6, I can't tell if her lips are done. Number 7, we have hand tattoos.
This is a constant occurrence in his videos.
That dating, particularly marriage as well, is not something that benefits men. A lot of the times, they need to feel as though they're the victim of something.
Women are not attracted to men who are emotionally available. They're not attracted to men who send them lots of messages. They're not attracted to men who are physically available. And they're not attracted to men who will give away their commitment for nothing.
He points at what he views as issues, but leaves it up to the audience to finish his thoughts. When I first started writing this script, my goal was to address his claims and debunk them, but I quickly realized that he never actually says anything. Rarely is he specific about his beliefs. I mean, when you take it in holistically, it's clear that he hates women, but he never has anything further to add than a surface level observation that women are bad.
Never, ever, never even consider a woman like this, guys, please. Oh my goodness. You ever look at someone you feel so bad for like the future sucker that's gonna cross paths with them?
He's incapable of constructing an entire thought. He starts off with the conclusion, and on the rare occasions where he does try to qualify it, he gets lost along the way. This is when he will and ah his way through, or maybe just start giggling.
These girls who are full-time college students, it literally demonstrates the opposite of independence. You are receiving money from the government, which you have to pay back. You are literally the opposite of independent. You are going into debt from the government, right? Which is like, it's just, oh my goodness, these people, guys, my brain is hurting so bad.
Anytime he tries to unpack his thoughts, he just falls flat.
What a good tip, boys. You know, this person should be like one of those gurus on the internet that just charges $2,000 for like some... Guys, I'm going to teach you how to manifest. Anyway, I think we're going to leave today's video there.
Now, this doesn't only happen when he's trying to explain himself. Listen to him attempt to tell a story.
I've literally had friends in my life tell me, there's one particular friend I'm thinking about recently, guys, and he says to me, he doesn't really know about this content or anything like that. He's just a buddy of mine. Fantastic guy, right? And he was talking to me the other day and he goes, Taylor, he's like, I don't think I'm going to date Australia. So I'm from Australia, right? If you guys can't tell by the kangaroo accent again. You know, and he says to me, without any prompting, he's like, you know, Taylor, I don't think I'm interested in dating Australian women anymore. And guys, like, I was trying not to crack the biggest smile of all time. And I'm like, oh, really? Why is that? And he goes on to tell me, guys.
This guy is a total dial tone, and he makes these videos because he hates women. And when I say he hates women, I mean he really hates them. Taylor is so caught up on these thoughts that he's built a deep, unfounded mistrust of anything a woman says. And it doesn't matter what she says. It could be something as simple as being asked a question.
You asked for it. You got it.
I guarantee you, nobody asked her to make this video.
Or that she owns a business.
I own 2 very successful companies. I
Doubt it.
am an entrepreneur at heart.
Yeah, double doubt the first thing.
No matter what she says, the Fiend's view on women is concrete.
I just want to highlight this again, guys. I do not believe that this woman has successful businesses, and I do not believe that she owns properties. I sincerely don't. I simply do not believe it. And I don't buy her story at all here, guys, of like the dude just being a friend and, oh, he just came over to clean the house only. I don't believe it. You never get the man's side of the story in these particular situations. By the way, I don't believe anything that this woman has said here. Sounds to me like she is the drama itself. But let's continue.
It has never crossed my mind in a million years to cheat on my partner.
That's a cap. Anyway, does anyone here watching this video, does anyone believe that? I don't believe that for a second. I reckon this woman's cheated, but she probably just tells herself that that's not what it was. Honestly, guys, how many women would you say fit that description right there? They're not honest with you. They're not honest with their intentions with you. They lie about where they are, right? Like, it's literally what women do in relationships the entire time.
Guys, this is why you can never believe what these girls say. Like, guys, it does not matter what the hell they say online. It does not matter what they say to you, because the truth is what they say is completely separate to reality.
And because of this mistrust, it means that his default position is that no matter what women experience, they are always at fault.
If the father is not around, that means one of a couple of things. Number 1, he left her, probably for a good reason. Or number 2, she booted him out. Or number 3, he wasn't around anyway, so she selected the wrong man. The average woman has such a disgusting amount of options that if she is single, it is her own damn fault. That you actually don't have to raise a child alone. If you actually placed any sort of care on keeping the father figure around to raise the child with you. When a man leaves a long-term relationship or he leaves something behind, typically it is because the woman has done something very wrong. A lot of these girls will paint themselves as the victim, guys, when in actual fact they've removed remove the father from the household in order to get child support and some assets.
Men, on the other hand, always get the benefit of the doubt.
The way men make terrible decisions is it's usually just based off of a lack of self-respect, of tolerating too much crap, and they will dedicate their whole lives for caring about women that don't care about them, rather than spending time actually caring about themselves.
Even in the rarer cases where he accepts that a man could have done the wrong thing in the story, he still blames the women because they should have known better or chosen a better man.
So yeah, there might be dudes who, who are a-holes who ditch their kids and stuff like this, but you've got to understand that the women are choosing these men. If you have a kid to some Chad or Tyrone, and you're surprised when not only did he not give you a relationship, but he actually doesn't stick around afterwards to take care of the kids with you, like you are just absolutely clueless.
Taylor has no problems at all criticizing women for any choice they make. Often he likes to list the red flags that women exhibit.
There are so many things in this clip that disturb me. A chest tattoo, we have an arm tattoo, we have a kid that is 15 years of age, we have a TikTok account, we are bragging about younger men desiring us, we are speaking negatively about men.
We got all the red flags in here. We got the Think Rich sign in the background. We got the nails that are just 30 inches long.
We have got, of course, the incredibly long nails, the terrible attitude. I believe this is a chest tattoo that extends downwards. It's always just like a bunch of red flags in the video, simply if you just look.
There's a couple of red flags here that I want to point out.
So number one, we have a lot of makeup on. Number two, I believe that this is a filter. So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention literally one of the most obvious red flags in this video is she's using like, she obviously doesn't sound like this.
This is coming from the Fiend, the guy who hides his face behind a cartoon character and downtunes his voice. It's likely Taylor will say that he's not trying to attract women, so he doesn't have to follow these rules. But why doesn't he extend this reasoning to the women in the videos? These women aren't trying to attract men. The video isn't posted on their dating profile. They're just using TikTok as a way to talk about their life. This is just another example of Taylor demonizing women for something that he openly allows men to do. Speaking of TikTok, he's forever insulting people that post TikTok videos. However, his entire channel is based on viewing those TikTok videos to make YouTube videos. And what's the difference between the two mediums? I guess one's long form, one's short form. To be honest, the Fiend would benefit from creating a TikTok account, because in reality, everything he has to say can be condensed into a 20-second video.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hate women, and men are actually victims of modern day society. I say this with absolute conviction, even though it's based on my own belief system, which is obviously flawed. Anyway, listen to my manly deep voice that's totally not edited, and check out my cool long hair.
We know what he thinks about marriage, but what does he think about divorce? It all really depends on who's initiating it.
All of these women are getting into marriages, and what they're doing is they're just leaving the guy and taking him for his crap. Because women get something out of marriage. Well, you know what? If she has just to change her feelings about you in marriage, she's allowed to leave you.
And how does he feel about women being allowed to initiate that divorce?
Guys, there's this little thing called no-fault divorce, but women are allowed to leave marriages just because. And this law was brought in under the pretense that a lot of women are in terrible relationships, they're not allowed to leave, that sort of thing. But that particular law has only been used to drag men through the divorce courts.
Okay, so it's clear that women shouldn't divorce their husband, but what if the man chooses wrong?
I would say this, okay? First of all, well done to this guy for going through, and starting that divorce process off. I don't think men should be staying in these situations, regardless of whether they apologize and try and make it up with you. It does not matter. They have broken the relationship, and that is their consequence to bear.
His confidence and authority to speak on matters doesn't come from a place of experience or research. Instead, he bases his whole ideology off his bias against women. Outside of the misdirections and hypocritical views, his videos are generally just an endless pit of bad takes. Warning on this next section, I have a highlight reel.
Women shouldn't be dating at the age of 40. They should be taking care of grandchildren. I want to highlight this, by the way, guys. Being a single mother is a very, very terrible thing.
Girls are incentivized to break up with men, take the children, take his assets, and then just run along with it.
So a lot of women, what they do is they come into your social circle and they try and monkey branch to the next best dude.
The girls will literally make their husbands into essentially unpaid laborers because girls like this aren't worth anything.
Guys, I don't feel sorry for these women. I really don't.
Nobody really cares about men at the end of the day. Gentlemen, if you're out here and you're trying to talk to a girl and say, oh, this is how I feel, she's not going to care.
Like, when men get out of relationships, their girl within like a month is going and seeing another dude. Typically, it's actually a way shorter window than that because she was probably seeing a guy throughout the end of the relationship.
But single mothers, guys, they raise terrible, terrible children.
And that's just the truth of it.
So yes, at first glance, his channel seems to be pretty impressive, doesn't it? He's amassed an audience of almost 230,000 people, and he has done this as a rambling voice behind a cartoon character. He's done this despite the fact that a lot of the people commenting would have bullied him had they known him in real life. Do you really think that Mike or Kevin would have spent any time with Taylor had they been in high school together? He has done this despite the fact that he has no credibility. He speaks with authority, but where does he get this from? It's pretty obvious that he doesn't have any real life experience with women. He never talks about his personal life, so his knowledge can only come from a place of personal bias. At least with other grifters who play this game, they try to prove themselves to these lonely men by posting photos of them at the gym, or with women, or with money, or at least provide personal anecdotes. But none of this seems to matter to Taylor's audience though, which I think tells the real story of Taylor the Fiend's success. His channel isn't an impressive rise to greatness against these obvious roadblocks. It's actually just a very sad echo chamber, the smelly dwelling of crying men. His audience don't come to his videos to hear what Taylor has to say. They come to feel validation about their already held beliefs on women and to complain about how they've been personally affected in their own lives. It's a place that they can feel sorry for themselves without any pushback and without having to consider any personal responsibility. The channel itself is nothing more than a convenient hangout for these types of men to gather, and the commentary of Taylor is basically background noise while his audience just air their own grievances. Taylor himself is just an insecure coward. He's so scared of facing real life scrutiny about his beliefs, so he hides behind a cartoon. He's so scared of being recognized in the real world, so he manipulates his voice. He's so scared about being challenged of his views, so he only provides a one-dimensional version of them. Mr. Fiend, I hope that you know that you provide nothing to your audience other than a safe place for them to be openly sexist and to cry about women. You might as well remove your narration along with the smug, long-necked cartoon from your videos and just replace it with elevator music. It will have the same effect. You add nothing. While it is true that you're assisting in the proliferation of hatred towards women, please understand that you're not some standout figure of the cause. You're not a leader marching against the grain. You're just another misguided man screaming into the mess of other loud voices with nothing of substance to say.
Yeah, because why would you stay in a real marriage when you can take half of his crap, sometimes all of it, take the kids as well, and then leave? And you can do all of these things because the government will just allow it. Like, why the hell not? And then these people want to say, there's been studies and stuff done, guys, on effective raising of children.